Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you're listening to this or watching this. This is the official debut of the Manager Show. I'm Owen Hillman, the broadcaster of Tallahassee State, here with Bryan Henry, the manager of Tallahassee State. How are you doing today, Brian?
Doing well, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to be here with you for the first time, man. It's officially spring break in Tallahassee. You ever hear any big plans for spring break from any of the players?
Get better. The part of being a baseball player, and it starts in high school, is you give up spring break.
Right.
It's baseball season. The schedule worked out to where we're on our bye in conference, so we have been able to give the guys a couple days just to help the body recover and get away from the game a little bit, a little fresh start. So it has been nice. Got a chance to play Wallace Dothan and get our bearings back and get back to competing.
Indeed. And how important are these kind of games in Wallace to prepare you for conference games? You got a lot more conference games in the future. How important is it like that?
I mean, it's big. It's just because you don't want to go a whole week without playing. So having the opportunity to play, compete, gives us a chance to kind of reset the pitching a little bit and script the pitching out for the game and get guys an inning that may have not been pitching a bunch lately. So, that just gives guys a chance to recover and just get ready for that final stretch run.
Indeed. You guys are coming into this game 17-16. You had an early part in the season where you played in the Panama City Beach Classic. You lost 3 out of 4 of those games, but you did win against Indian River State College. What were your biggest takeaways from that beginning of January, and how did you feel like your team recuperated from that stretch?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This year we kind of wanted to make a challenging schedule, and that tournament is huge in terms of the eyes of recruiting and competition. And I mean, you got the best teams from all over the country coming in to play in that tournament. So for us to have that opportunity, we knew if they were going to be good games and tests for us to just see where we're at early in the year. And I think for the guys to get to play in front of all the college or the scouts that were in attendance and play the competition level, it was good that they could see, man, we're in all 3 of our losses, the last inning we were within striking distance. So, I think even though we didn't come away with wins, they came away with a little confidence going, man, we can play with the best teams in the country. And that's kind of continued on into conference where we've been in all the games we've played, and, hopefully we'll just start winning a few of them.
Indeed. You guys are 2-4 entering conference play, but you've won games against the number 1 ranked Chipola at home, and you've won the game against Gulf Coast State College at home as well. They were the number 1 team in the Panhandle Conference last season. Both those games are at home. How impactful is it to win those games at home in front of the home fans, Tallahassee State?
It's big. I mean, the way the schedule is set up, it's you got to win at home to just keep yourself in it. It's hard to win on the road at any level, at any team, especially in conference. The Panhandle Conference is one of the best conferences in the country, and every game is going to be a dogfight, and we know that. And being able to protect the nest is kind of what we've stressed. And we let the one get away against Pensacola, but we responded back and like you said, beat Gulf Coast and Chipola at home, and hopefully we'll continue that Saturday against Northwest.
Indeed. And in that game against Chipola, Mason Moore hit a 3-run home run for the game-winning runs in that one on a 3-0 count. What was your message to Mason Moore after that at bat?
We work on it all the time. We work on hitters counts. We work on 3-0 counts, green light situations, and stress. Okay, if in a hitter's count, if I get beat, I need to be beat out front. Like I got to be ahead of it. So I gave him the green light, and he said he got what he was looking for, and I mean, he didn't miss it. That was a pretty cool moment for sure.
Indeed, that perfectly segues us into the outfield. There are 4 major outfielders on the team. You really did well in recruiting. You got Jacoby Bowens, who's been, I believe, leading the team in home runs, at least for a while. You've also got BJ Gibson, who's a 2-sport athlete at Florida State. Definitely his athleticism translated to Tallahassee State. J.C. Martinez has been impact freshman. Of course, Mason Moore has been the cleanup hitter for the team at times. What was your strategy in terms of recruiting this year in terms of the outfield?
Yeah, I mean we're trying to recruit the best player we can get to come here, and then once they get here, we'll let it all play out. And I mean we definitely have a great outfield, and that's even missing Juan Serra, who had season-ending knee surgery, who was our best hitter in the fall. So we definitely knew coming into the year that the outfield was loaded. We're excited to have all those guys, and some of them will be coming back too. So it's a lot of fun. Those guys can really play, and they're only getting better.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Ron Serra brings next year to the team. But onto the infield, there's a mix of returning sophomores on the team and impact freshmen, a couple of those being Nate Dietz and Daniel Spiker. Would you mind describing to me how the impact of those two have been in the infield?
I mean, those two are just gamers. I mean, Spiker is a little undersized out there, but you can't tell him that. I mean, he plays like he's 6'3", and he competes, and I mean, he's kind of that spark plug for the team, and I mean, he's made some plays that have left your jaw open, and it's good. It's fun to have, and Dietz is another one of those guys that's just going to do whatever it takes and compete, and they kind of fit in well with the Eric and Cade that bring a little bit of juice and experience, and so we got a nice combination of players out there.
Indeed. Discussing about Eric and Cade, and of course Gabe Delfuco as well, how impactful has their return been to the squad?
Yeah, I mean, experience is huge. They've been through the conference grind. They've been through, they can help relay the same message that we're trying to relay as coaches, but when players hear it from players, it goes a little further, and I mean, they know what it takes to win these games, and they've been in the close games, and they've been in games where we've been blown out, so they don't want to experience that again. So they're doing their part to kind of get us going and keep us in the right direction for sure.
Indeed. Just want to say congratulations to Eric on committing to the Raging Cajuns. I also heard that Cade is committed to South Alabama, so congratulations to both of them. But speaking of Gabe Delfuco, moving on to the other catcher, Bubba Crouch on the team. His bat has been very lively on the team. I believe he's leading the team in average. He had a 500 average entering conference play. How impactful has his bat and has his presence been to the team?
I mean, it's huge. You saw in the fall, we knew his defense was, I mean, elite, and that was kind of what we were thinking. Okay, he's going to bring elite defense to the table, can really catch and throw, and then he comes out in his first few games hitting the ball hard and getting on base, and you're like, man, okay, and it just continued, and he's kind of playing himself into a position where people are noticing, and for him, a catcher is I mean, a tough position to play, and anybody, if you can do both, if you can hit and defend, you're gonna play this game for a little while, and then him hitting from the left side is only a bonus. I get calls all the time about Bubba already, so we're excited to have him.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of Bubba, let's move on to the pitching ranks. I've seen a couple starters in rotation, but it appears as if 4 guys have been solidified as starters. William McDonald, Aaron Robinson, I've seen get a couple starts. Jamison Harris, Connor Cavo, I've seen a couple of times, and Jackson Kirkonis, the redshirt freshman. In general, would you mind describing the impacts of each of those pitchers in the starting rotation?
Yeah, I mean, we the pitching is still a work in progress, and I mean the rotation is Will McDonald is probably the one bona fide. Okay, he's our guy. With the injuries we've dealt with, we kind of had 5 starters named out in the December, and of those 5, Will's the only one pitching. So it's we're bad on the injury bug, but everybody does, and that's when you need those other guys to step up. And a guy like Jackson has filled that role well, and just mixing and matching everybody else to try to put them in positions to be successful too. So moving forward, we'll kind of we've switched to the everybody's available approach now. Will's our one guy that we know is going to start, and then whoever doesn't get used in relief that game, one of those guys may start the next game. So we're a little unconventional right now, but that's kind of what we got to do to get by.
I've seen Noah Miller get a couple starts after seeing him have a couple shutout innings in the bullpen. Just how's he been able to earn your trust as a starter?
Yeah, so that's kind of the route. I mean, a guy like Elias Murdoch was the same.
Yeah.
He was a back end bullpen guy and threw strikes and competed in the zone, and we feel like our offense is good enough to where we just wanted to get off to a fast start. So we moved him from the 8th inning role to start, and once he gets healthy, he'll start again. And same thing with Miller. Those guys come in the back end and throw strikes and give us a chance. So we're like, okay, well, why don't, Dawkins has been pitching great in the back, so we got to get to him. And so we're like, that was one of the adjustments we made, is let's throw these back end guys early just to give us a chance to get a lead, and hopefully we can hang on to it and get it to Doc.
Indeed. Yeah, I was just saying, Emory Dawkins returning to the club. He's been I love his intro song, and I love just how like locked in he is on the mound. How is his return? How big has his return been?
It's huge. I mean, and like we just said with the position players, anytime you can bring that experience to the table, I mean, that helps. It goes a long way. He's been in the situation before, and for him, when he's coming in with a 1-run lead and a pitching in the 9th inning in the Panhandle Conference, you have to have that ability to kind of take a deep breath and not let the moment get too big, and that's where his experience helps him with that. And he's done a phenomenal job so far of being able to use the moment to give a little adrenaline, but also not let him get out of control. And he's been great so far. Indeed.
And as for the rest of the bullpen, you mentioned that a couple of them might be looking at some starting action. A couple of them have been stepping up. Who do you think have been the biggest players to step up in terms of?
It's been, everybody's had their moment.
For sure.
And that's what we're looking to get, that consistency. We Alex Kors is a guy who's kind of had a couple big outings, and you would like to see him keep that same consistency every time. And then a guy like Mason Avant has the stuff to do it. So it's like we have the pieces there. We just need the consistency and the guys to just not try to do too much and compete in the strike zone.
Indeed. And just to cap it off, what kind of adjustments are you looking to make for the rest of the season as we head into doubleheader days and 4-game series? We have 2 games away and then 2 games back at the Eagle Field on Saturdays.
Yeah, well, we just, again, I tell the guys, we just control what we can control. We want to go out and obviously defend the home field. If we can win our home games and steal a road game here and there, the conference it's a grueling grind, and teams are going to beat each other up. So if we can pitch and play defense, defend our home field, I think at the end of the season we'll be right in the thick of it.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening. This was the first episode of the Manager Show. Be sure to follow Tallahassee State on Instagram and on YouTube and on X. Once again, I'm Owen Hillman with Bryan Henry, and go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Thank you.